There's a reason why being friendzoned feels like emotional exile. It's not just about rejection, it's about being close enough to feel her warmth, but far enough that she never lets you in. You become her emotional support, her therapist, her cheerleader, everything except the man she craves. But what if I told you, the moment she puts you in the friend zone is the exact moment you can flip the game, because being friendzoned isn't the end, it's a hidden opportunity. If you do this right, she'll chase you harder than anyone ever has. You have to break the cycle. If she calls you after a breakup, vents about another guy, or needs a late-night ego boost and you're always there, you're reinforcing your place as the guy she doesn't have to work for. Why would she chase you if she already has your presence, your support, your validation? The first move is emotional detachment. Not in anger, not in revenge, but in clarity. Start saying no. Let her feel your absence. If you've always been available, the contrast of your silence will hit her like a wave. It's not about punishing her, it's about resetting the dynamic. She needs to feel what life is like without your energy orbiting around hers. You see, women are highly intuitive when it comes to emotional presence. When you're constantly there, offering comfort, advice, time, and attention, she doesn't register your efforts as romantic gestures, she processes them as expected, safe, and worst of all, non-threatening. And no woman is attracted to what she doesn't feel the need to earn. Every time you pick up her call at 1 a.m. to hear about a guy who didn't treat her right, you're conditioning her subconscious mind to categorize you as dependable but not desirable. You're training her to believe you'll always be there, regardless of how little she reciprocates. That's not loyalty, that's emotional self-abandonment. You must rewire the script. It starts with denying access. Not with cruelty, but with intention. When she sends a long paragraph about her feelings toward another guy, don't respond with validation. Respond with space. When she asks to hang out as just friends, you decline. You're not doing this because you hate her, you're doing it because you finally value yourself. Detachment doesn't mean you no longer care. It means you care about your own mental, emotional, and romantic dignity more than playing the background character in someone else's story. She has to wonder where you went. She has to sit in the silence of your absence and reflect on what she lost, not because you said something cruel, but because you withdrew your constant comfort. Emotional energy is currency. If you keep giving it freely, it's taken for granted. But the moment you stop giving, that's when people start counting the cost. Make her count it. Make her feel the difference between having your presence and missing it. That's where the chase begins, not when you try harder, but when you disappear with purpose. You want her to chase you. Then you need to become someone worth chasing, not in her eyes, but in yours. That means you stop living for her attention, stop planning your actions based on how she might react, and start stepping fully into your own masculine power. Reinvention is not a gimmick. It's not about getting a fresh haircut and wearing cologne so she suddenly sees you as attractive. It's a full-scale transformation that touches every part of your life: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. You must take a hard, unfiltered look at yourself in the mirror and ask, if I were a woman, would I chase this man? If the answer is no, it's time to rebuild, not for her, but for yourself. Hit the gym not because you want her to notice your arms, but because you need to build discipline, structure, and power within your own body. There is something unspoken about a man who takes care of himself. Women don't just see it, they sense it. When you carry yourself with strength and direction, it changes how you enter rooms, how you speak, how you carry silence. It's no longer about proving yourself to her. It's about becoming a man who doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. You upgrade your style not to impress her, but because the way you dress reflects how you feel about yourself. Sloppy dress communicates a lack of pride. Sharp, intentional style communicates self-respect and presence. Don't copy trends. Find a look that makes you feel powerful, refined, and grounded. It's not about being flashy, it's about being undeniable. But that's only one layer. Reinvention also means sharpening your mind. Read more, learn deeply, study philosophy, strategy, human nature. Women are drawn to men who challenge them mentally, not just physically. When you can speak with clarity, wit, and depth, you separate yourself from the pack. You stop being the guy she overlooks and become the man who makes her think, feel, and wonder. And perhaps most importantly, you must upgrade your emotional discipline. Most men in the friend zone are emotionally chaotic. They get frustrated when they're ignored, jealous when she dates someone else, bitter when she calls them just a friend. That's emotional volatility, and women run from it. You need to become the calm in the storm, unbothered, centered. When she sees that she can't shake your mood with her silence, can't provoke jealousy with her stories, and can't get a rise out of you no matter what she does, she starts to question her power. And when she questions her power, her curiosity begins. What's changed in him? Why does he feel so different? Why isn't he affected by me like before? That mystery is the seed of attraction. The more you grow in silence, the more she feels your absence as a statement. You don't chase, you don't explain, you don't defend. You evolve. And when a man evolves without her, it creates a storm of emotions in her mind. She won't say it out loud, but she'll think about you, obsess over you, and eventually she'll come looking not for the old version of you, but for the new man she can't stop thinking about. If you're always the one texting first, replying instantly, sending long messages while she drops one, word replies, you've created an imbalance that's quietly killing any attraction she might have had for you. Women are deeply attuned to patterns. When a man constantly initiates conversation, tries to keep the dialogue alive, fills in awkward silences, and overcompensates when she gives minimal effort, she begins to subconsciously categorize him as a lower value man. Not because he's a bad person, but because he has no mystery, no sense of emotional restraint, and no standards for reciprocity. The key to shifting this dynamic isn't to argue with her or express your disappointment, it's to break the rhythm. Disrupt the flow that she has become so comfortable with. If she expects you to be the one who always reaches out, stop. If she knows you'll reply within seconds of her message, delay. If she's used to you being an open book, stop sharing everything. The change must be subtle but firm. When she texts you something vague or uninteresting, you don't engage with enthusiasm. When she sends you a message after hours or days of silence, you don't respond instantly. Let her feel a touch of uncertainty. That uncertainty is where attraction starts to spark again. She needs to feel that her hold on you is slipping, that her ability to summon your attention at will is no longer guaranteed. The moment she starts wondering why you didn't reply immediately, or why your energy seems cooler, she'll begin recalibrating her approach to you. That's not manipulation. That's psychological balance. Every relationship, romantic or platonic, is an energy exchange. If one person gives everything and the other gives nothing, the bond becomes toxic and unfulfilling. So, when you stop sending good morning texts, stop checking in on her day, stop being the one to carry the conversation forward, you're forcing her to either invest or lose access. And the beauty of it is this: if she doesn't invest, then her interest was never truly there. But if she begins to initiate, ask questions, double text, or try to re-establish the old connection, that's a clear signal that your absence made an impact. You don't owe her constant contact. In fact, every time you disrupt that pattern, you give her space to miss you. Most men fear distance. They think, if I stop texting, she'll forget about me. But that mindset is exactly why they stay stuck in the friend zone. Attraction isn't built through constant reminders, it's built through emotional disruption. You must let her feel your absence, let her wonder, let her spiral in curiosity. Don't respond to filler texts. Don't entertain dry conversations. Communicate only when you have something meaningful to say or when she brings genuine energy to the table. You are not a source of comfort on demand. You are a man with value, and your time, energy, and attention must be earned. Eventually, this shift in communication creates a psychological vacuum. She starts replaying your last message. She starts refreshing your chat, wondering if you saw her text. She starts thinking about you not because you're present, but because you've become rare, and scarcity always increases value. When your presence is no longer a guarantee, it becomes a privilege. And privileges are something people chase, fight for, and desire. All you have to do is stop feeding the dynamic that kept you stuck and start becoming the question she can't answer. The moment you stop trying to maintain the old rhythm and break free from emotional overextension, you shift the power of the relationship. And from that space of calm detachment, you watch as she begins to chase what she thought would always be there. This isn't about making her jealous, it's about showing you're valuable in the social marketplace. When you spend time with other women, whether they're friends, colleagues, or even potential romantic interests, you're doing something far more powerful than trying to provoke envy. You're altering how she sees you on a primal level. See, women don't respond to logic the way men do when it comes to attraction. They respond to social proof. That's the evolutionary instinct, the innate programming that tells her if other women want you, there must be a reason. If other women are choosing you, enjoying your company, drawn to your energy, then perhaps she missed something. Perhaps she overlooked a treasure that others are now beginning to recognize. And that shift in her perception creates a subtle anxiety, the kind that makes her wonder, was I wrong about him? Most men don't understand this dynamic. They believe they have to convince a woman to see their worth by talking more, doing more, explaining their feelings, or proving their loyalty. But what truly shifts a woman's attraction is when she sees you effortlessly integrating with other women who smile in your presence, lean in when they talk to you, laugh genuinely at your jokes, and touch your arm during conversation. You don't even need to be flirting. Just being around feminine energy and carrying yourself with confidence changes everything. It breaks the lonely, desperate image she may have formed in her mind. It communicates that you're not begging for attention, you're choosing where to give it. That message is loud, even in silence. Go out, be social, attend events, post pictures that reflect joy, not show off energy. A photo of you smiling genuinely in a group, standing confidently at a dinner party, or caught in a candid moment that sends a message she can't ignore. You're living, thriving, desired, and now she has to ask herself, where do I stand? She starts to feel the pressure, not because you're trying to punish her, but because you've stepped outside of her control. That's the moment the friend zone begins to crack, and here's the key part. You don't do this to fake anything. You don't use women as pawns or play games. You do this because you're genuinely expanding your life beyond her. You're building a circle that doesn't revolve around her presence. You're investing your time in connections that nourish you, and in that process, you radiate abundance instead of lack. A man who is surrounded by options is infinitely more attractive than a man who places all his hope in one woman who hasn't chosen him. Even if she never sees the other women directly, she will feel the change in you. You'll speak differently, walk differently. You'll stop putting her on a pedestal because, in your mind, she's no longer the only one. That quiet shift in your energy, that detachment born from having choices, is what magnetizes her back to you. Now she has competition, not because you created it artificially, but because you finally realized your worth doesn't begin and end with her approval. Now she has to earn what once was freely given. Now she feels what you once felt, the sting of being on the outside, watching someone you care about grow beyond your reach. And that pain, that uncertainty, that's the birthplace of desire. When she sees you as a man who is desired, admired, and respected by other women, she will no longer see you as the safe backup. She'll begin to see you as the prize. And when a man becomes the prize, everything changes. Her walls weaken, her logic gets confused, and her heart starts racing, not out of control, but in pursuit. Today, your online presence is not just a reflection of who you are, it's often the first version of you people encounter, especially in her mind when she's not around you physically. Your digital footprint becomes a silent narrative of your growth, your discipline, your evolution, and your worth. And whether you realize it or not, she's watching. Even if she doesn't like your posts, even if she doesn't comment or reply to your stories, she's paying attention. Every image, every update, every glimpse into your life sends a message. And when used strategically, your social media can become a silent magnet that pulls her curiosity, her interest, and eventually her desire back to you. But here's where most men get it wrong. They post selfies begging for attention, vague quotes drenched in bitterness, or attempts to look cool that reek of insecurity. That doesn't attract her, it repels her. If you want to trigger her curiosity, it has to come from a place of real transformation, not performance. Start posting your progress, not your pain. Show moments of silence, strength, and movement. You don't need to say, "Look at me." Your actions will speak louder. A photo of you at the gym at 6 a.m., not with your abs flexed, but with the caption, "Discipline over motivation." A short video of you at a seminar, working on your craft, attending an event that reflects personal growth, that's power. That sends a very clear signal. While she's stuck watching, you're moving. While she's busy chatting with guys who offer her attention, you're building a version of yourself that no longer needs hers. This kind of silent progression triggers something deep within her. It's not jealousy. It's not envy. It's a psychological disruption because you're no longer emotionally available, but you're still visible. And that contrast creates a vacuum that her mind can't ignore. But it's not just about what you post, it's how you carry yourself in everything you allow others to see. Your captions should be centered, strong, and subtly philosophical. Your photos should exude calm dominance, quiet confidence, and emotional control. Never look like you're trying too hard. Look like a man who no longer needs validation from anyone, least of all her. Every time she scrolls past a picture of you looking sharper, cleaner, more focused, she'll feel a subtle tug in her chest. What's changed in him? Who's he becoming? Why does he feel different? And then, whether she admits it or not, she'll keep watching. She might go back and re-watch a video you posted. She might check your profile at 2 a.m., trying to piece together the man you're becoming now that you've stopped chasing her. Your Instagram stories, your tweets, your status updates, all of it becomes a digital breadcrumb trail that leads her curiosity back to you. And it's crucial that you never use your social media to directly target her. Don't post, don't throw shade, don't make passive-aggressive comments about relationships or friendzoning. That's weak energy, and she can smell it from a mile away. What you do instead is radiate purpose. You let your content say, "I'm building something bigger than both of us, and I'm not waiting for you to notice." Ironically, that's exactly when she will notice. When she sees you living, glowing, and leveling up, not because of her, but without her. It's deeply unsettling. Because now she doesn't have access. She doesn't get the full story. She only sees the highlight reel, and that incomplete picture fuels her imagination. What's he doing? Who is he becoming? Who is he doing it with? That storm of questions starts to eat away at her sense of control. And in that uncertainty, a strange thing happens. The woman who once had you wrapped around her finger starts to wonder if she ever really knew you at all. And that mystery, that evolution, that slow, burning curiosity that keeps her checking your stories long after midnight, that's exactly what makes her chase. After your silence, your transformation, your shift, she may come back. Maybe subtly, through a random message asking how you've been. Maybe through a like on one of your old posts. Maybe she replies to a story you didn't even expect her to see. But here's where most men crumble. The very moment she gives them an inch of attention, they come rushing back, trying to resume the old dynamic, overflowing with hope that maybe now she finally gets it. But the truth is, if you rush back in with emotional excitement, if you show her that her small breadcrumb was enough to win back your presence, you've undone all your progress. She doesn't want to return to the version of you she previously ignored. She wants to see if the new version of you truly exists. So, the most critical thing you can do when she reappears is to meet her energy with calm indifference, not rudeness, not bitterness. Indifference, the energy of a man who no longer craves her attention to feel validated. You must remember that by the time she returns, she's not coming back because of how you made her feel when you were chasing. She's coming back because of how she feels now that you've stopped. That's an entirely different psychology. She's not sure if she still has access to you. She's not sure if she still holds power. And this uncertainty is the root of her new interest. So if you respond too eagerly, too emotionally, if you act like her return means everything to you, she instantly confirms her power over you still exists. And just like that, the chase dies again. Instead, you must carry the energy of a man who has moved on emotionally, even if you haven't completely. Your tone should be neutral, your replies brief, your availability low. Don't over-explain what you've been doing. Let her wonder. Curiosity is what pulled her back in, and your job is to keep feeding that curiosity with subtlety, not stories. She needs to feel that the version of you she remembers is no longer here, and that she's dealing with someone far more grounded, detached, and secure. What does this look like in practice? It means no long replies, no emotional memory lane conversations, no "I've missed you too" texts. You respond like a man who is neither waiting nor chasing. If she brings up the past, You acknowledge it with calm clarity, but don't linger there. If she asks about your life, you speak in facts, not feelings. You're no longer proving your worth, you embody it. Every message she receives from you should make her ask, why does he feel so different? Why isn't he chasing me like before? Why am I still thinking about him even though I'm the one who ended it? Those internal questions are where desire is born. Not in comfort, not in predictability, but in subtle confusion and emotional tension. Let her feel the consequences of her past choices, not through guilt, tripping, but through elevation. The version of you she once rejected should now feel emotionally unreachable. Not because you're playing games, but because you've matured into a man who no longer dwells in what could have been. Your energy has changed. Your presence is lighter. You don't react, you observe. You don't seek answers, you create options. And from that place of internal power, you let her prove herself. You no longer audition for her love. She has to earn your attention now, because you've already proven what kind of man you are. And now it's her move. If she can't rise to the level of the man you've become, she will feel it in every short message, every pause between replies, every lack of emotional validation she once took for granted. And in that silent space between what she expects and what you now give, that's where the chase begins. And so now, the game is no longer in her hands, it's in yours. The man she friendzoned is gone. The emotional sponge, the predictable comfort, the always available version of you no longer exists. What stands in his place is a grounded, evolved, emotionally disciplined man who knows his worth, honors his silence, and walks with purpose. She may come back. She may flirt, linger, test, or even beg for attention again. But you won't chase. You won't fold. You'll let her come to you as she should. Because the moment you stopped giving her the emotional high she never earned was the moment she began craving it. You flipped the frame. She's no longer the one being chased. She's chasing the man she never thought she'd lose.